Welcome to Let's Ride. It's a brand new program that I hope you enjoy. We are talking with individuals in and outside of the community, and today we have on the line Pastor Arrington. And how are you doing today, sir?
I'm great, Mr. Miller. How you doing?
Hey, I got no complaints because they know.
Good. I like that. Let's ride.
Let's ride.
That's forward motion.
Forward motion, because if you always keep moving, you're going to do something. When you sit still, that's when it all comes to an end, I believe.
Exactly right. Exactly right.
But I would like to tell our viewers and listeners that I've been knowing of you for quite a few years. You're not a beginner out here. You've been out here long. You're a veteran at this thing. And I would just let the viewers know that I've been knowing you a while, and it's a pleasure for me to have you on the show. And I hope everybody enjoys what they're listening to, and maybe they could be blessed. I know they will be blessed, actually.
Oh, yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
You'd like to just let the viewers know, a little bit about you. Some already know you, but some that don't. If you just like to just introduce yourself to the new people out here.
All right. Well, I'm not going to come up with anything long, but I'm just a very simple guy. There are a few things that I do in life to help the community and people at large, and of course that is pastoring and ministering and being a servant of Christ in the streets and in the church building and in the community. And I've been doing that over 30 years now. I think about working on 32 years.
Okay.
So I consider myself a servant. You know, the definition of minister is servant, and the definition of ministry is serving.
Right.
And I've taken that as part of my life task. In fact, I believe it's my life calling to serve others, not just in the Bible, but in whatever other way that's legal and legitimate that I can,
Right.
and help other people. So I'm just a very simple guy, believe in playing by the rules when I can.
Right.
And just keeping it real and simple.
I saw something on one of your feeds that I saw very interesting, that you like to go down into the gutter, in the streets, in the dirt, because that's where Christ went.
Yes, sir. That's what it's all about. A lot of people would be shocked to know that Jesus spent very little time in the temple.
Right.
And when he went in the temple, it was always some trouble. I like to say, he go in there and start trouble, and they run him out.
Right.
And then they go back to the streets and deal with the people that appreciated who he was and what he did.
Right.
And Jesus was the type of person, he not only ministered to you, but he blessed you.
Right.
And a case in point, when Jesus was out in the desert and ministering to the people, and the evening got late and the day was spent, the people were hungry.
Right.
And Jesus, of course, the disciples wanted to go to town to get something and buy something, but long story short, and cut through the chase, Jesus performed a miracle and fed 5,000.
Right.
So Jesus is not only concerned about our spirit man, but he's also concerned about our physical man. And I said all that to say this: real ministry is about helping people like Jesus did.
Right. Because a lot of people have a lot of ministries out here. I'm not sure all of them are real ministries.
Yeah, I can confirm that a lot of them are not real ministries. A lot of them are for personal and selfish gain.
Right.
And they always said this: if you want to know who the true preachers are, take money out of it.
Right.
And then you'll know who's real and who's not.
Right. Because I believe if you were called to minister or teach, you would definitely can do it with God's helping, and you don't need a whole lot of money, because he'll provide a way.
Exactly right.
I could be wrong, but that's what I believe.
Yeah, exactly right. And I'm not saying you shouldn't get compensated because, as the Bible says, your gifts will make room for you. And interpreting that simply means that God gives all of us gifts.
Right.
And those gifts are supposed to make a living for us.
Right.
But sometimes people are not walking in their calling. They grift, or they see something that's quick and easy as they think, an easy way to make money, and they ruin it for everybody else. But
Right.
gifts are there to provide a living for those that have gifts, which is all of us. And we thrived off gifts before. I hope I can say this without getting in trouble. Before there was an Abbott's Laboratory or Consolidated Diesel or Firestone. Let's date back 100 years ago. People thrived off their gift, their talent, whatever they were good with. That's what they did.
Right.
And today, the factories have replaced the gifting in us. That's why most of us that work those type of jobs are miserable, because we're not doing what we've been called to do.
Right. That's right. And I was talking to a friend of mine not long ago. When I went to school, I was in high school. Well, I was in actually elementary, middle school, 9th grade. And I took electronics in the 9th grade.
Wow.
I had a friend that took carpentry, and we had bricklayers, and we had all types of vicar classes, they called it. And when you got out of high school, when I got out, I had took 3 years of electronics. So I already knew where I wanted to be. And they removed that out of the schools.
Well, they've removed all of them. All the trades are no longer in school. And this is another subject for another day, but I think that's by design.
It was by design, and I'll touch on it, so maybe we can do a part 2 of this. But what I discovered was they removed it from the school and put it in college and put a tuition to it. Okay,
There you go.
I said it. They put a tuition to it. So now when you graduate from high school, you don't know where you're going to go.
Exactly right. And I was just like you. I'm a country boy, and I've always been hands on, and don't mind getting dirty or greasy. A lot of people get confused when they hear that I'm a pastor and then look at some of the work that I do beyond the pulpit to make a living. Right. But just like you, I took up brick masonry and auto mechanics when I was in school.
That's right, because they had auto mechanics, because I used to get my car worked on because I was in the same school. So, I fixed radios for them, and they'd fix my car.
And those things served me well in my life. It's up until recently, I never really had to go to a shop and get my car worked on.
Right.
I'm a general contractor, which is just another one of my side things that I do. But because of my experience in high school, 3 years in high school as a brick mason, it taught me foundation, footer, framing, and all of that stuff. Right. And because of high school, it launched for me and you a great career opportunity for our lives, Right. And but again, those days are far spent now. And quite frankly, we have got a generation now that they're not even interested in that. They don't even want to get their hands dirty.
No, they don't want to get hands dirty. And the sad thing about it is, I'm not disrespecting college, but it is what it is. You go off to college for 4 years. If you graduate, now you got a $200,000, $300,000 debt on your head that you got to pay back. And you may not get the job that you plan on getting.
Well, 80% of the people that go to college, unless it's something like a teacher or a lawyer or a doctor, something specific, very few work in the trade or in the subject that they study. So, and we're learning, within the last few years, we're learning that a lot of this was just about the money.
It was about the money.
Right, and people are not getting jobs, like you said, large tuition, and you can't pay a $200,000 college bill working at McDonald's as a manager.
You can't. You really can't. And you know, when I got in the electronics in school, I was gung ho. I'm like, okay, I'm ready to fix some stuff. My instructor said, "Oh no, son, we're gonna do math right now." I'm saying math. He said, "No, you got to do math. How you gonna do electronics? You don't know math." And I didn't like math. But I was blessed because I did never go to get my schedule on time, and they used to put me in algebras, and I hated it, but I could do it. And it was the math background I had that made me go through. Because I had to have that math to know electronics. So, you know, it worked out for me perfectly.
That's right.
And when I got out of high school, I was pretty advanced in electronics, and then I finished it, and I knew what I was doing. Now you go to college, you get a little bit of this, and a little bit of that, and a little bit of something else. You got all these little bits that don't add up to nothing. Now you got $200,000-$300,000 bill on you, you know?
Yes,
like
sir.
you said, working at McDonald's to try to pay tuition off.
It doesn't work. But they sold us that lie, the American dream.
Yes, indeed. But look, I want to touch on, if you would, you said you was a contractor. Tell me a little bit about that, if you want to talk about that.
Well, I'm a general contractor, a licensed general contractor, should I say?
Okay.
And I fell into that. This is what actually happened. And I'm gonna try to make a long story short.
Okay.
My wife and I bought a home in 2000.
Okay.
And speaking of math, we bought the home, and after about 5 years, I put the into how much I had actually paid on this home.
Right.
I was looking at my statements, and my statements were not dropping at all.
Right.
And of course, you know, in 2000, interest rates were a little bit higher. But I looked and I said, I'm not paying on this house, and I got 25 more years, and it's not falling. And so the Lord gave me a revelation.
Right.
He said, well, first thing you need to understand is the definition of mortgage. And so mortgage is the root word is like mortician or morgue,
right,
which means unto death.
Right.
And so I figured it out. I says, okay, I'm gonna work 25 to 30 years with no guaranteed employment rather, to pay a mortgage which I might not be able to pay off. So I got frustrated, put the house on the market, sold it. When I bought a single wide trailer and moved in, and I was determined that I'm gonna beat the system.
Right.
And so I studied and learned and just invested in some knowledge on how to build a house.
Right.
And me and my wife ventured out on building our first house. I think it was in 2010, I believe it was. And we did it piece by piece and out of our pocket.
Right.
And we completed it.
Right.
I'm gonna just cut through the chase. It took 3 years.
Right.
But out of our pocket, we completed it.
Right.
And I says, okay, 27 years of free money going to somebody else. That just don't make sense when we can do it in 3 years for pennies on the dollar. Well, once I built mine, then somebody else wanted one.
Right.
You get what I'm saying?
Right, right.
And so I started bootlegging a little bit. And then I upped my goals, and there was some property that I actually wanted to build other houses on. And the county kept telling me, well, you can build your house one time every so often, but you can't build multiple houses because you're not a general contractor.
Okay.
So I me being who I am, well, you can't tell me no, you can't tell me I can't beat the system, so I went to school.
Yeah, because there are other general contractors, why can't you be one?
Exactly right. I took the course and passed the course and got my insurances in place and got my license. and it just launched into to billing, grading. I got excavators, skid steers, anything in construction. We're qualified to do it. So that's how I ended up being in the construction field as a general contractor. Selfish ambition,
Right.
we flipped over into a pretty decent business opportunity. And we don't do everything. Me and my wife, we are in the later phases of our lives where our bodies are not the way they used to be.
Right.
But we pick and choose what we want to do, and we make a good living with building porches, doing additions,
Right.
fixing floors, or sometimes I don't like the roof, but sometimes
Right.
I get up there, that's how we did it.
But that's all that matters. You're living and you're functioning. And I wanted to touch back on something you said, a mortgage. I've asked many people, professionals, and they don't have the answer because I know that it's foolery is what I call it. Let's say you buy $100,000 mortgage.
Mm-hmm.
Now tell me, in 30 years, how come when you add it all up, you done paid about $300,000 on a $100,000 loan? The math don't add up. Even if you got a 1.1% interest, I don't understand it.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's this way. We buy and believe everything that the system tells us.
That's right.
And the system tells us that paying a mortgage for 30 years makes sense.
Right.
But some of us have, we look outside the box, and we think outside the box, and we say, no, this doesn't make sense. The math ain't mathing.
Right.
How do you convince me that I can buy a house that's worth $100,000 and pay 3 times as much for it? I signed the bank note.
Right.
How did you convince me to do that?
Right.
If I'm selling you an apple and the apple is 25 cents, how did I convince you to pay $3 for my apple?
Right.
Well, it's manipulation. It's language.
Right.
It's the system.
It is the system.
Right. And once you get in the system, you're trapped. You're trapped into slavery.
It's preach, Pastor, because there's a lot of things I like to answer to that people can't seem to answer. I heard a guy the other day talking about retirement fund, like we get money taken out of our check early age when we first start working.
Mm-hmm.
Let's say you work 30 years. Mm-hmm. He estimated that if we had about 30 years, he did some math on it, and it was simple math. He said, you got about $1 million in there when you add it up.
Mm-hmm. Right.
He said, but they give you what, about $1,200-$1,300 a month?
Yep.
That don't make sense.
It don't make sense when you can take that money and put it aside for yourself. Exactly. and be a good disciplinary.
Right.
And in 30 years, you'll have it, and you'll probably be able to pay your own self more than $1,300 a month.
And then if you die, where does that money go, Pastor? Tell me.
There you go. That's the $100 million question.
Where's all that money? Because I know somewhere there's a big pile of money.
Mm-hmm. Yes, sir. And that's what I say about insurance.
Oh, yeah, insurance.
I pay insurance, you do too.
Yeah.
Pay insurance all your life, and you have one accident or have one calamity at home and they want to drop you.
Yeah.
And they never go back and look at the thousands of dollars that you've invested over the years. Where does that money go? Why can't we get that money back?
Exactly. I don't know if you noticed, but I've been seeing a lot of advertisements on car insurance. These people are saying, if you're paying more than $100 for car insurance, you're paying too much because I did this and that, and I get it for $39. Well, pretty much that's all your car insurance is worth. But they tell me that most of the premium go to the agents.
They do. And then they make it mandatory that you have to have it.
Oh, yeah. It's the machine. I call it the machine.
Right. To drive your car, you have to have it. You know, to live in your home, you have to have it.
Your experience with this, we talked about this before the conversation, talking about a camper. So I bought a camper. I paid for it. I paid the taxes on it. And part of the fee was to get the tags for it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I got the tags. They sent me the hard tags. They gave me a 30-day first, and they sent me a hard tag. I'm like, okay, I'm good. Since I don't drive it, something said, look at the tag. I looked at the tag and didn't realize it was temporary.
Right, had a T on it.
Yeah. So I'm saying, wait a minute. You mean I owe you some more money?
Yes, sir.
And I'm like, this is crazy.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Just tax us to death.
That's what it's all about. So with that said, we've got to change our way of thinking. Let's just face it. Government has never been our friend, and government never gives you good advice or advice that will help you.
Right.
Government always give you advice that helps them.
Mm-hmm.
And so we've got to change our way of thinking. We got to change our way of doing things, and we just got to rethink this whole matter called life.
Right. We really do.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Because it's terrible. I know that you and I will have more content that we could talk about. I don't want to hold you long because I know you're tired and you've been working hard, but I appreciate it. We've been on the air for 21 minutes.
Yes, sir.
And I've enjoyed every minute of it talking with you. And I want to thank you, and for the viewers and the listeners out there, this is Pastor Ethan Arrington, and it's a pleasure talking to you, and I hope we can do it again.
Yes, sir, Mr. Miller. Appreciate it.
And if anytime you have a subject matter you want to discuss, hey, feel free. I always have you on the show.
All right. I thank you, man.
Thank you, too.